verdad que no, que sufrimos demasiado injustamente. Ellos...
Myself, I don't need other players to push myself. I just worked since I was...
You can see this stadium from the moon this evening. 400 million pairs of eyes are cast on the beautifully illuminated Estadio Bernabeu. Lionel Messi against Cristiano Ronaldo, just one of the many matchups of some of the top talents in world football.
For 15 years, Messi and Ronaldo owned football. The Ballon d'Or was theirs, the headlines were theirs, the conversation was theirs. But in that same era, two other players emerged who came closer than anyone else to breaking that monopoly. One was a Brazilian who left the best team in the world to escape one man's shadow and walked straight into another. The other was a Belgian who terrorized every Premier League defender for 7 years and then disappeared into a hospital bed in Madrid. Neymar, Hazard, two players, two completely different stories, one shared fate. Both had the talent to challenge the untouchables. Neither ever got the chance to prove it fully. This is the story of football's two greatest what-ifs. Neymar, the boy who was born ready. Let's start in Brazil. Mogi das Cruzes, 1992. A city that football had never heard of, producing a player the world would never forget. Neymar joined Santos as a child. By 17, he was their best player. By 19, he had led them to the Copa Libertadores, South America's Champions League. He was named the best player in South America 2 years running. Every club in Europe wanted him. Real Madrid wanted him. Barcelona moved faster. In 2013, Neymar signed for FC Barcelona, and within 2 years, the argument was already being made. The 2014-15 season, Neymar scores 39 goals and provides 10 assists. He's joint top scorer in the Champions League with 10 goals. In the final against Juventus, he scores twice. Barcelona win the treble. He finishes third in the Ballon d'Or, behind Messi, behind Ronaldo, but closer than anyone had been in years. And in that moment, that specific summer of 2015, the football world genuinely believed that the next Ballon d'Or wasn't going to be Messi or Ronaldo. It was going to be Neymar. Hazard, the most untouchable player in England. Now let's cross to London, Stamford Bridge, 2012. Eden Hazard arrives at Chelsea from Lille as a 21-year-old. Nobody quite knows what they're about to watch. Within 1 season, Chelsea know. Within 2 seasons, every Premier League defender knows. By 2015, the entire country agrees on something rare in football. Eden Hazard is the best player in England. PFA Players Player of the Year 2015. FWA Footballer of the Year 2015. Premier League Player of the Season. Voted by peers, by journalists, by everyone who watched. Unanimous. His Chelsea numbers are extraordinary. 352 appearances, 110 goals, a goal or assist every 99 minutes in the Premier League. He created more chances than any other player in the division across his entire Chelsea career. 595 chances created. Nobody else came close. But the numbers don't capture what watching Hazard actually felt like. He was different. He invited tackles, absorbed contact with his low center of gravity, and left defenders lunging at air. At his peak, specifically the 2014-15 and 2018-19 seasons, he was doing things in the Premier League that felt impossible. The 2018-19 season, Hazard's last at Chelsea, 16 goals, 15 assists. The Europa League final against Arsenal, 2 goals, man of the match, the performance of his career. Chelsea win 4-1. He is 28 years old, he is at the absolute peak of his powers, and Real Madrid come calling. The decisions that changed everything. Here is where both stories take the same turn, and it's the turn that defines everything. Neymar, in the summer of 2017, leaves Barcelona. He triggers his own release clause, €222 million, the largest transfer fee in football history. He goes to Paris Saint-Germain. The stated reason is ambition. The real reason is simpler. He is tired of living in Lionel Messi's shadow. At PSG, he was promised the project would revolve entirely around him. He would be the undisputed star. He would win the Ballon d'Or. Hazard, in the summer of 2019, leaves Chelsea. Real Madrid pay up to £150 million. He arrives at the Bernabeu to replace Cristiano Ronaldo. He is given the number 7 shirt. The weight of that legacy is placed directly on his shoulders before he has kicked a single ball. Both decisions made sense at the time. Both players were at their peak. Both were moving to clubs that had won the Champions League. Both were chasing the ultimate prize. And both decisions ended their careers as elite footballers. Not immediately, not obviously, but eventually. Paris and Madrid, where dreams go to break. Neymar's 6 years at PSG contained genuine greatness. 118 goals in 173 appearances. 5 League One titles. A Champions League final in 2020, lost 1-0 to Bayern Munich. But the pattern that defined his PSG career was not what he achieved, it was what he missed. Over 6 seasons, Neymar missed 119 matches, almost always in January or February, almost always just before the Champions League knockout rounds began, the tournament he went to Paris to win. And then, in 2021, the cruelest irony in modern football, Lionel Messi signed for PSG. The shadow that Neymar had spent 222 million euros running from had followed him to Paris. Hazard's story is different, but the wound is the same. In November 2019, just months after arriving in Madrid, Hazard is tackled by Thomas Meunier in a Champions League match against PSG. His ankle fractures. He later said, "Thomas Meunier injured me, and everything was ruined." Over 4 seasons at Real Madrid, Hazard played 76 matches and scored 7 goals. He underwent surgery multiple times. He could never build the fitness base needed to play his style of football, the style that requires absorbing contact, changing direction at speed, and trusting your body completely. When you can't trust your body, you can't be Hazard. By the time Real Madrid terminated his contract in 2023, 1 year early, Vinicius Jr. had made his position permanently redundant. Hazard retired at 32. Simple statement. "I have decided to put an end to my professional career." The honest verdict, could they really have challenged? So here is the question we have to answer honestly. Could Neymar and Hazard really have challenged Messi and Ronaldo for the title of best player in the world? The case for Neymar is the strongest. In the summer of 2015, his numbers were directly comparable to Messi's best years. He had already won the Champions League. He had already finished 3rd in the Ballon d'Or. At 23 years old in his prime, with 4 or 5 peak seasons still ahead of him, yes. If he had stayed at Barcelona, if he had stayed healthy, the argument was live. The case for Hazard is harder but no less compelling. At his Chelsea peak, he was doing things that no other player in Europe was doing with the same consistency. His stats from 2014-15 and 2018-19 belong in a conversation with the very best. But he never played in a Champions League campaign that showed the world what he could do on the biggest stage. That absence makes the argument incomplete. What both players lacked was not talent, it was time. Neymar spent his peak years managing injuries and being outshone by Mbappe in Paris. Hazard spent his peak years in operating theaters in Madrid. Messi and Ronaldo stayed fit. They showed up every season for 15 years. That is not a small thing. That is perhaps the most underrated part of what made them great. And Neymar and Hazard, through injury, bad luck, and bad decisions, never got to test that consistency. The legacy, what they gave us. It would be wrong to end this story as a tragedy, because Neymar and Hazard gave football moments it will never forget. Neymar's goal against Villarreal in 2015. His dribbling in the 2015 Champions League final. The nights at the new camp where he and Messi and Suarez seemed to be playing a different sport from everyone else. Hazard's goal against Arsenal in 2018, picking up the ball in his own half and dribbling through 5 players. The 2018-19 Europa League final. Every weekend at Stamford Bridge between 2014 and 2019, where he made defenders look like children. These weren't players who failed. These were players who succeeded at an extraordinary level, just not at the level that we and they had dared to imagine. The Ballon d'Or debate never opened for either of them the way it should have. The conversation was always Messi or Ronaldo. Neymar and Hazard were always the answer to a different question: who comes next? And the honest, painful truth is that nobody came. Not in the way that their talent suggested they could. They were the only players of their generation who got close enough to see what it felt like. They just couldn't stay long enough to take it. 2 players, 2 different paths, the same unanswered question. Tell me in the comments if you had to choose one, Neymar or Hazard, who had the better chance of actually winning the Ballon d'Or, and what would it have taken? Subscribe to MigZone. Every week, we go back into the arena and find the stories that the highlights don't tell. See you in the next one.